watching sports is a waste of time. I hate to say it, guys. I really do, but I've been mulling it over lately, really contemplating this. And it's just not that, it's just not worth it. There's way too many downsides to it, and when you really think about it logically, like, it doesn't make any sense why we're doing this, especially for people who are trying to improve. Like, if you're just trying to live a normal life, yeah, I get why you like that, but if you're actually trying to improve and have a meaningful, purposeful life, I don't see why you would watch this. So if you don't really care about having, like, an efficient life and doing stuff with good meaning behind it, then stop watching because you don't really need this video. But if you want to figure out why it's not really useful and why it's just wasting your time, then I'll tell you. Stick around. I feel like things that are ingrained in us since we are young are kind of things we grandfather into our belief system, even when we start to change and try to adopt things and do things in a good way that is efficient and makes sense actually logically. But there are things we do since we're kids that just because we've done them, we don't really question them like we do with new ideas. For example, like, a lot of kids who end up being racist end up being that way because they were taught that as kids and they never really consider that. Now, granted, they're not really trying to change or improve, I'm willing to bet, but my point is, you can be taught a lot of really bad stuff when you're a kid and you never really question it. And I feel like that's the same with sports. I don't really know many people that are into sports or into watching it that didn't start that way as a kid. Maybe they watched it with their dad, or maybe they started playing it when they were a kid with their friends, their family, or whatever. And because of that, you start watching it. Because usually, the people who like to watch the sport are also people who like to play it. Maybe they're not very good, but they like to play it if they can. It's not always that way, but I feel like a lot of the people are actually interested in the sport itself, and that's a way to experience it by watching it. But the thing is, because you were raised that way and you didn't really adopt that later in your life, you probably never considered, like, is this actually worth it? Because there are things you can do for fun that actually gain you something. Hell, even just playing the sport is actually something that can give you something. Doing a lot of things for fun, like, something you do for fun doesn't have to be boring and tedious and annoying. So my point is, if you're doing this for fun, like most people just say, oh, I'm relaxing, I finished my work for today, so I'm just gonna go and watch the game for a few hours. But the thing is that this really provides nothing for your life. I mean, think about it. You're watching, like, other people play a game, and pretty much you're gaining nothing from it, right? You put all your care, all your hopes, your thoughts into these players. You follow the team on Twitter. You follow, like, different community people on YouTube and watch videos about injury updates and what player do they get in free agency? What is their chance of winning the next year? You watch all the talking heads debating about, oh, is this player going to be good? Is that contract going to be worth it? Is this guy, should we cut him? Stuff like that. It's not just watching the games. I mean, there are people who do that, but I mean the people who are really into it, who watch all that kind of stuff. What do you really gain from that, right? Like, yeah, it can feel good if you get a win with them, but, if you watch them win and you watch them all the time, but let's say even if your team in whatever sport won the championship, right? What then? You feel good for a little bit and then that's it? But, like, it's not like you did it. You're just watching them. So what pride can you really take from that, right? Like, there's definitely a lower amount of pride you can get from that than actually doing something yourself. So I don't really know, like, what the point is. When you really think about it, it doesn't make sense. And I can't really blame you for thinking that way, because, hell, I did up until a little while ago when I actually really thought about it. Like, you don't really gain anything from that, right? Like, even if they win, what's next? Oh, okay, well, let's hope we win the next year. It's not like, it never ends. It's never like, okay, well, I got there, now we got the championship, all right, I'm done with that now. Now we can move on and go to another goal. It's not like most things where, like, your goal is to graduate college, right? Okay, I graduated college. I'm done. Now let's go get another degree. Come on, let's go. We can get 2 now, not just 1. Like, you finish something, you achieve your goal, and you be done. But not only are you not achieving anything, but you're not even done. Like, you're just like, all right, we got 1. Now can we get 2? When does it end? And it's not even like, it's something that's like fulfilling because a large part of the time, which is my second problem with it, is what I'm gonna say now. But a large part of the time, like you can't control anything, which is like the worst part. It's like the same thing as putting all of your happiness in like a girl or some external factor. That's like the recipe for unhappiness because your emotions are being controlled by something that isn't you. You're being like you're just like taking a ride on chaos at that point because your happiness could be influenced by anything that isn't you, which is why people say like don't put your happiness in another person or anything else like that because eventually and unpredictably it's going to be letting you down and it's going to your emotions, your feelings, your happiness and sadness by that contrast are going to be determined by something you cannot control. I don't think I need to explain anymore why that's a dangerous thing to do. And we always say don't let a girl control this, don't let people do that, don't let bad friends control your emotions. You should keep that within yourself. Don't let other people make you sad or happy. Like be happy and be proud of yourself. Work on yourself so that whether something bad or good happens, you internally are always okay and always able to deal with that, and you do not let external things control your life and make you unhappy inevitably. But for whatever reason, sports gets a pass. Because really think about it, like when you watch sports, you're just putting your external validation or happiness on whether your team wins or loses. I know like there's definitely a direct correlation between the more you care about a team and how happy or sad you get when they win or lose, right? It's obvious. The more energy and emotion you put into stuff, the more you care about it. If you watch a team, right, all year, and you follow everything, you follow them on Twitter, on YouTube, you like all the players, you watch the interviews, stuff like that, and they lose, you're done for. Like, your emotions are gone. Forget about them, right? But if you, like, watch one game and that's it, and then you, like, turn it off and go do something else, like, you're not going to care that much. But I'm talking to the people who really care about it, who watch everything like I did. And the thing is, when they lose, or when one of your players gets hurt, or they have a bad game, or God forbid they fucking choke, like, it hurts. You can't deny that. It hurts. You're like, God damn it. I put all I care into this. I've spent so much time, so much energy watching this, like, especially if it's like the playoffs, because they're done for like the whole year. You spent the entire year for nothing pretty much. Like, maybe one time for the experience, like I said. Like, I'm talking about the people who watch it, like, religiously, like, year after year and follow it like it's some kind of family for them or something. And that's the thing. Like, it hurts, but you can't control it. That's the worst part. If something hurts, but, like, you can control it, like, let's say you made a mistake and whatever reason your girlfriend broke up with you because you made a mistake, right? Maybe you yelled at her, did something bad, and she was like, I don't like this, I'm leaving. Yeah, it hurts. But you can say, okay, at least it was on me. It was my fault. I can take responsibility for this, and then I can improve and not let it happen again. That's always the bottom line. That's a good silver lining in anything. If you can improve and not let it happen again, you can say to yourself, okay, that hurt, but I learned something, and I'm not going to let it happen again. But you can't do that with sports, because you can't control it. You can't control if they're going to choke next year, or fuck, the worst part that I haven't even brought up yet, the fucking refs. Look, I don't know about soccer or football in Europe, but I'm talking about American sports, especially basketball and football, American football, which I watched. Their refs are awful, and you can't say anything about them. The players can't complain about them. They make awful decisions all the time, and that can cost you a game. That can cost you a season. That can cost a lot of games, and that's even more annoying than just losing a game or even choking. Even choking. That's so annoying because that's not even part of the game. It's not even like your players had, like, you're taking yourself out of it, right? And you're caring about what other players do. So if they choke, it's annoying and you can't control that either. But even if they play well and they don't choke, and the refs take it, that's like a third tier higher. It's like you to the team, and then the refs are taking it away. They're not even part of the game. And they take away a deserved win? Like, that's so infuriating. Like, why would you put yourself through that for what I already said in the beginning of the video is not much benefit, because it doesn't really impact you. Like, mentally, yeah, you can have fun with something, but, like, I already pointed out why that's kind of flawed because it never ends. And also, on a more practical level, you're actually not gaining anything if they win or lose. If they win, they put the work in, they get the trophy, they get the money, whatever it is, right? They get the feeling of accomplishing something great, but you don't get anything. So it really begs the question, when you really think about it, it does not make sense with such a little benefit, and then you have like such annoying and drastic negatives that come to your emotions because you can't control anything. You can't tell them or make them do better next time. It really makes me think, why would you watch it? And that's why I think, okay, like, it's fine every once in a while. Like, for example, watching the World Cup, I think it's completely fine. It happens every few years, and it's a really cool experience because it's like I guess the Olympics, but it's like the entire world coming together, and it's something cool to experience every few years. And I think that kind of thing is fine, right? Watching a game every once in a while, maybe you'll turn on a game here and there, but I'm talking, don't care too much about the day-to-day. Like, don't follow a team religiously. Don't put so much care and emotion and feelings into this team and let them control how you feel. It's just not a recipe for success, and it wastes your time. You can be doing much more important, efficient, and fulfilling things other than watching sports like that. All right, that's it, guys. See ya.